those days you're doing something and you go to another room, you end up doing a little bit of something else, and you go to another room and you end up doing a little bit of something else? Well, that's the kind of day I'm having today. That is my adult ADD brain in full speed ahead, in full on ADD mode. I am getting ready to transfer my pillow paint, which is the PPG Multi Pro Eggshell, into containers and refill my containers. And I always get a little bit nervous when I open a new gallon, because I get used to the last gallon and working with it, and then I open a new gallon and it may not be exactly the same to work with as the last gallon. So I always get a little nervous at the end of my gallons, or at the end of my paints. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm labeling my containers here. I recycle my containers. That's Kroger's heavy whipping cream bottle, which I love. Okay, I gotta stop saying love so much. I feel like I'm abusing the word love. I just really can appreciate these containers here, these bottles here. And a lot of times I look at items and think, what else could I use that for? Because you just hate throwing it away. Just put new batteries in my label maker. I enjoy my label maker. It comes in handy. I've got to do a very thorough vacuuming today. The floors and the rugs are disgusting. So I put this off until I just can't put it off anymore, because this is not one of my favorite things to do. It's not one of my favorite things, or my favorite parts of fluid art. Paint, transferring paint. It's not fun. Now, mixing paints, I love mixing paints. A lot of people don't, but I love it. Oh, I can appreciate it. I really like it. It's very relaxing to me. And I've not ever used these paints, but I've had them for quite some time. So these are the 4 I want to mix up today. And then I won't paint with them until later. Actually, I want to mix up 5, because I want to mix up white and use it as a color too. We usually just use like white in our cell activators, but I want to use white as a color when I'm layering my colors for my bloom technique. So, and I don't think I have white in that brand. Like I said, I've never used that brand. I don't have white. Nah. Yeah, I've got my favorite brand, which is... Knock the paints off, Lisa. Jeez. I've got this white, which I thoroughly appreciate. Amsterdam. Excuse me. Goodness. Excuse me. Ken wasn't feeling real good yesterday, so I'm gonna mix up 5 paints. Today. I may have a white already mixed up for one of the colors. Like right here. What color is that? Is that a pigment? Or, which I shouldn't be playing with these paints because I'm not in paint clothes. This may be a pigment. Let's see. If it's a pigment, I'll be able to see. Or I should be able to see. My sticks are stuck together. The shimmer. Nope, I think that's a white. So I've already got a white. Yippee, skippy. It's very thick. I'm going to have to thin it. And I do that with varnish. So I have a white. And it's very thick, so. Very thick. Well, it's not very thick, but it's a little too thick for the bloom technique. So I'll just put a little bit of varnish in that. I'm going to wash up the laundry hampers today. I just take them into my bathroom, put them in the tub, spray them or pour bleach into them. If they're stinky, I'll pour bleach into them. Run some water in it and let it sit. I think that's what I'll do today. Just pour some bleach into it. And don't splash the bleach all over yourself. It's always funny. If Biddy sees herself, like when I open my bathroom door and leave it open, because I keep my bathroom door shut. If she sees herself in the mirror, she thinks it's another dog and she just totally flips out, and that's what she just did. It's quite funny. Just let that sit for a little bit. I take my cup here and just dip it down into the water and just pour it all over the lid and the outside also. And let that do its thing. Let that bleach do its thing. Disinfect and all the things. And if I had some bleach water mixed up, I would just take my spray bottle and spray the outside of it. But I don't have one mixed up right now, so I'm just using the cup instead. I'm being lazy like that. But I like to do this every couple of weeks. Or when I have to, if I have to do it before a couple of weeks, especially during the mowing season, and they get a lot of grass and dirt and greasy, grimy gopher guts in it, then I have to clean them out sooner than later. Huge pieces of cauliflower left from where I made the cauliflower casserole the other night. Usually, their cauliflower heads are super teeny tiny. I can't even believe they call it a head of cauliflower. The recipe called for 2 medium. Well, one of them was huge, and that's probably all I needed for that recipe. But I went ahead and I had already washed or cut up and washed both heads, and it was just far too much for the recipe. So I said, well, I can either roast these or just eat them as is, because I can really appreciate some cauliflower. Either way, I had it out in the garage refrigerator and bring it into the kitchen refrigerator, so I remembered to do something with it. I'm over here wiping this area up, and it reminded me of a recipe that's super easy breezy and delicious that you might can enjoy if you're having family over, gatherings, or whatever you do this time of year. I would do it every either Christmas and Thanksgiving, but mostly for Christmas, the days that I would be hosting and family would be coming in and coming over, or family and friends coming over if I was hosting or had a gathering. You take a crock pot and get one of your crock pots, the largest one that you have. You put in the clear apple cider. They have 2 different ones. One's cloudy and then one's clear. And then you take a bag of Red Hots, but you put the apple cider in, pour the apple cider into your crock pot, and then you pour a bag of Red Hots into the apple cider, put a lid on it, warm all day long. The family can dip from it, pour it, dip out what they want, put it into cups. I would do that, and it was just a super easy, breezy drink that everybody enjoyed. I'd put it on in the morning, and it would be on most of the day or into the evening, and people would just enjoy it as they wanted a cinnamon apple cider drink. I think what made me think of that is these cinnamon taffy in my deer mugs. Oh dear. And thinking how much I love the taste of cinnamon, and then that reminded me, I'm not crazy about the apple cider or apple juice, but with the cinnamon Red Hots in it, it's pretty good. And I would just put 1 bag of that in, but you do want to stir it throughout the day until the Red Hots completely melt. I've not ever had an issue with them sticking to the bottom, but myself or somebody in the house would stir it up throughout the day. And here's another thing, just do it as you can. I'm not gonna dust the entire dining room or the entire house, much less I'm not gonna dust the entire dining room, much less the house right now. But I'm just gonna do this area that was really covered in dust. All night. All night. And Christ was born. Take the coffees out of these, the pot, so I can dust or clean up the actual, what is this called? What is this called? Help me here, what is it called? I don't know. I don't drink these, I have these on. I have these available for guests or family members that are here. I drink flavored coffees. Is it called a carousel? A coffee pod carousel? I don't think it's called a tower. I'm sure it's got a name to it. And I'm sure I will Google it and see what it's called. Sleigh bells ringing, diamonds blinging, carols singing, favorite season. They said, say Nick, what you got up in that bag, yeah. I got racks in my... Because these things can be very time consuming, do them when you can. And that way you don't have to put so much time in to doing it when you already have so many other things to do. Go far. I forgot that I brought it in here and just left it. And I'll just remove everything from the shelf. Sleigh bells ringing, diamonds blinging, carols singing, favorite season. Sleigh bells ringing, diamonds blinging, carols singing. What are the girls out there blocking at? Blocky. Oh dear! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they're beautiful. I hope you could see that. I love deer. Oh my gosh, I love deer. There's about 5 of them out there. I seen a buck a couple weeks back that I was hoping Ken would get to see it. That's what they were barking at. They're walking along the creek bank there. Every now and then when I have guests over there and deer are out, because maybe Ken put some deer feed out. Because he was doing that for a while. Message my look at Biddy. Look at Biddy. She's a funny one, I tell ya. Just taking it in. She's so funny. But I'll message my hello, babe. Hi, babies. Hi, babies. Hi, babies. But I'll message my guest. The deer are in the front yard or the deer are in the back. Look out the back window. And I have heard back. We're watching them now. We're in the screen room and we're watching them while we have our dinner. Carols singing, favorite season. They said, say Nick, what you got up in that bag, yeah. Just a wee bit, and then I'll get a cleaning rag and come in here and dry them up. And then put them back where they belong. 12 days of Christmas socks is brought to you by me. Just green, white, and a little bit of red. I think that's probably like holly berries, holly leaves. And I did film yesterday's, but again, when I collect so much footage, I have to get rid of some of it, and that was one of them. They were just the red and green stripes yesterday, and I discovered something else about the box, and I'll share that with you. It helps if you take the things out of the box and take a look at what's in the bottom of the box. I didn't want to mess up the way they were folded. It had individual bags to put the socks in. Like if you were gifting it to someone, you put them in their 12 individual bags. Oh, geez. I tell you, sometimes you got to get down to the nitty-gritty and see what's in it, and then sometimes I'm like, but I don't want to mess up the way they've got the socks folded. I need to hold on to anything else. And I'm learning to let go of boxes, which I threw away 2 boxes today. 2 pair of boot boxes. It kind of hurt. That bad. Hurt deep, but I did it. The Givenchy Irresistible and the Gucci Guilty are the 2 scents that I am wearing today. Are the 2 fragrances I'm wearing today. Layered, of course. My hairdresser texted me last night or yesterday and said, I've got you in for January the 4th. She said, thank you so very much. That was yesterday's 12 days of Christmas socks. That was the socks that I went with yesterday on day 16. I'm actually gonna, the movie. I was gonna tell you the movie that I mentioned last night.
Did you ever wonder how Santa Claus came to be Santa? Go, a young boy took on a mysterious mission and created a legend that would be carried from generation to generation. A Christmas present for moviegoers of all ages. Christmas Story.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap up day 17 of Vlogmas and start working on day 18 of Vlogmas. How many days to Christmas? Alexa, how many days until Christmas?
Christmas will start in 8 days, on December 25th, 2023.
8 days.
But you got up in that bag, yeah. I got racks in my sack, hurt my back, yeah. They said say Nick, but you got up in that bag, yeah. I got racks in my sack, hurt my back, yeah. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. No, I can't forget about the one with the red nose. When I fly high, my sleigh.